Well, hi guys, and welcome back. We've finally made it to our next budget review. The planner desk is a little messy. We've just been planning away today. So again, I picked the Hemlock and Oak 2025 weekly planner for my budget planner this year. It's going so well, guys. I love it. And yeah, see, that's one of my last receipts for the free gas. So I love it. I do keep that just as a friendly reminder that, not all things are bad. Just, you gotta find the good things every now and then, and I love me a free tank of gas. So this Hemlock and Oak planner, it's mainly supposed to be for like a regular style planner, so I'm just modifying it to become a budget planner. So they do have like this self-reflection and values area in the front. I try to keep it budget themed. The goals area, again, like if you're into like goal settings and making new habits and that, the Hemlock and Oak planner is like one of the best planners for this. And again, that's why I picked it for my budgeting, because it is like my weakest point. So that's why I was like, yeah, we're definitely going with a Hemlock and Oak with the budgeting. And so far, like I said, it's just been amazing. So the first goal that I had for the year was to get all of my store accounts at $0. Again, the main reason being is any balances on these accounts takes away the funds that I could be using to pay down my what I call my actual debts. And we can see we are still battling Amazon and we are still battling Walmart. But not all hope is lost yet, guys. We are making progress. It's just we got some little hiccups along the way. And I did add a new goal, just because I came very close to coming on last week, but I was like, nope, we're just gonna stick to our new recording schedule here. But I only got one more account that I need to move to a 0% balance transfer, and all of my debts are on 0% once I get that card on there. But it's the next card that I have to pay off anyways, so maybe I'll get the stupid thing paid off and then we could just focus on these other ones. But this is the closest that I've ever had to where everything was on a low interest and I'm like actually getting to pay off the debts. Like what I'm paying is actually going towards the balance instead of feeding the interest monster. So I'm pretty excited about that. And again, the only habit that I have right now is just saving the $5 a day. I'm pretty sure that the habits will start building once I'm, no longer battling all of the debt. But again, if this is your first time getting a glance at this Hemlock and Oak, they really do have a wonderful, wonderful goal setting and habit setting area. The daily framework, again, the main reason why I continue to show this page is I learned from this page. Again, I took a graph, but I was budgeting at the wrong time of the day. I was budgeting after work when my energy is low, and once I switched to budgeting early in the morning, like the first thing that I do, I started making better money decisions. Now, it doesn't stop me from overspending, but I at least have a better insight, a better perspective of like what my financial situation is, and which should help me later on in the day. But I will have to say, whenever I am at my weakest point during these hours, and if I want to buy, I will. But I try to remember this type of stuff because this is what I really want. I want more of this. And yeah, if you're constantly battling the debt monster, it's a little bit more difficult to get those things. So moving into the more like actual budgeting part of this, um, we have this 2 years at a glance. I use this for my projected payoffs, and it also helps me track how long it's taken me to pay off a certain debt. So we can see that the perks account was in blue, and it almost took 3 months to pay that off, but it wasn't projected to be paid off until April 13th, so I was still ahead of the schedule. The next one we're moving on to is the PSECU, and we can see that that's highlighted in red. I was really wanting to get this thing paid off by the end of June, and I could, like, this is the dilemma that I'm having right now. So I can actually have this thing paid off today, but I would have to pull from my emergency savings, and I'm just one of those people of where I know the moment that I take those funds out of the savings and I pay that account off, something's going to happen. Okay, like a piece of the vehicle is going to fall off, or like a tree's going to come down and like break a leg or something. So I can easily put the remainder of the amount on for the next month in July and then still have it paid off by my projected date. But I don't know. I just feel more comfortable having that little bit of funds in the savings account. And I mean, it's only a matter of 4 weeks, and I think I can hold out for 4 weeks. So I don't know. I just would prefer to have the money in the savings, because you really do never know. So with me talking about like the projected payoff dates and the accounts that you can see that I have listed on here, these are the accounts that I'm referring to. And what I do every year is I just list all of my accounts and their starting balances, and I go from the smallest amount to the largest amount. Do I actually pay them off in that order? No. I used to be strictly into the whole snowball method, and then last year I started switching it up to figuring out, like, is it worth it for me to pay off, like, let's say, like PSECU before the city card? And for this year, it was, just because PSECU has a higher minimum balance or minimum payment than the city did. So that's why I figured just try to get this thing out of the way, and then that's going to free up more funds during the month, which I could then start putting on these other accounts. And it did actually work out in my favor, because like I said, I was able to move. I got Merrick and Mercury. They're both on 0% now. The Discover is now on a 0%. City balance transfer is already 0%. So the only one that I'm looking at right now is the City Double Cash card, but it's a small enough a balance that it's probably not really gonna be that much of a change. It was these bigger ones right here. Because I mean, let's face it, they're not getting paid off anytime soon. So let's just keep them on the 0%, and go from there. And this is my little Debtris. So each of these blocks is $10. So every time that I do make a payment towards any of these accounts, it gets marked on here. And I mean, it's not the progress that I wanted to make for this year at this time, since we are at the midway point. But I mean, any little bit helps. Okay, so if you are on a debt payoff journey too, and I mean, that's the whole point that I put in my videos. If you're looking for like perfect budgeting, I am not the video for you. This is real budgeting. This is where not everything is perfect. Sometimes things work out. Most of the times they don't. Life gets in the way. And so if you, I mean, that is the one reason why I did start filming these, because every time I would go on and try to find budgeting advice or, budget planners and that, it was just perfect. Like everything went the way they wanted it. And it's like, that does not happen for me. So, if you're budgeting and you're finding that like little blips in that are happening, and you're just like, oh, I'm going to give up budgeting, which I did many, many times. And it just, which if you go back to some of my very first budget videos from like 2 years ago, you will see my list of accounts that I had to pay was like this long. So we are making progress. It is slow and steady that wins this race, guys. Um, I mean, you'd be working 3 jobs. You would have to work 3 jobs to get this done quickly. But that's why I film. It's to let you know that, if you're in a similar situation, you are not alone, and I completely understand. So, we have the year at a glance page. Again, this is where I put like all those weird things that happen during the year, like birthdays. What are these things called? I'm staring at them. I just want to call it Halloween. It's the only one I care about. Holidays. Yeah. Okay. So see, Sally's been out in the sun too long. So yeah, no, we got birthdays, we got holidays, large amounts of money out, so that would be the taxes, large amounts of money in, that would be the insurance funds. I even started putting on like doctors and dentist visits because those are in the blue, so you can see we've had a slew of those this year. And normally, the previous years, I would only mark down if I got one of those main accounts paid off. So going back to this, like right now I would only have the perks, which is right there. And this year I wanted to put in like any large expense that I paid off, just as a friendly reminder to myself to like give myself grace. And because like if I would just be looking at this, I'd be like, why in the heck did it take till March to pay the perks card off? And it's like, oh, well, you got the mini dumpster paid off, you got the carpet scrubber paid off, you bought a new dryer, you paid off the cabinet, you paid off Maurice's, you paid off Discover, you paid off Michael's, you paid off Target, and then, we repaired the transmission. So there was a lot going on in those months, and to me, basic budget planners do not track all of these things. And it's like I said, it's mainly to give myself grace into knowing, like, that's why it took that long. And again, that goes back to this friendly reminder that we had up here in the goals section, because a lot of those were the store accounts when I was busting through them. And it's like, yeah, having balances on those accounts takes away the funds to pay the other accounts. So it's not just black and white. Budgeting has like so many multiple factors in it, and that could really change how long it takes you to pay off your accounts. So that's my ramble on that. And I do have the vehicle things too, like car inspections, registration of plates, driver's license renewals. It's just really a nice way for me to start planning ahead. And we can see like July through September is basically naked. So I'm feeling really good about this part of the year. And I really think that I got myself in like a good situation, guys. So I'm feeling the energy shift from like all of the mayhem that we had at the beginning of the year. And I'm really thinking that I could be making at least good progress for these months. So we're going to try to bust that through. And okay, before I do take a break, we are going to go through the quarterly pages. And again, this was the first time that I came across quarterly pages in my budget planner. And I was like, what the heck do I do with these things? We're not even going to go over the mayhem with the perks card. The only thing I'm going to say is it's really difficult to pay down a balance on a card when you're still using it. We got to actually see the mayhem of that on this. With the PSECU, it is a loan, so I'm not constantly using it. So basically, when I make a payment, the payment is what it is, and then we can see like there's just a little bit of interest added on to the balance. So this would be the starting balance for each of the months, and then if I made a payment, which we could see April was really crappy, only one. And so that was my estimated balance. And then, of course, that's with the interest added on. So we can see we got a little bit better. April, not so hot. May was June is definitely where these are the type of payments I want to see. I could have did a little bit better in June, but it is what it is. And like I said, any little bit helps. And this bottom area, I really wasn't sure if I was going to do this, but I am so glad that I did. What I do is the first of every month, so this would be February's numbers. I go through all of the accounts, write down what the actual balance is, and this is how I track to see how the interest is affecting my payments. And this was really the warning. That's Bert's toes right there. This was the warning for me. The Discover card had a really high interest to it. So let's go back to here real quick. So we can see I started the year with Discover being at a 39. We'll just round off. So just a 3,900. By February 1st, it was at 4,100. And so yeah, it went up. I'm not using it. And then by March 1st, it was at 4,160. Okay, so I'm just like, dude, this thing is creeping up steadily. That's the interest. That was the interest accumulating on it, even though I was giving it, I'm going to say about $100. So this is the other nice thing about this is, yeah, so we got 10 blocks. We got more than 10 blocks. So yeah, the Discover is definitely getting 100. None of that 100 is going towards my balance. It is going to interest, and there apparently was more interest because the balance raised. So we quickly transferred that to an ally account, and as we can see, like, it's going down. So when I make the $100 payments, look at that, it goes down. We only made 60 for this month. Because, like I said, like, from here to here was just tough. This was a tough struggle, and we're finally getting over the downward slide. But, yeah, so that's why I'm tracking these. So I do highly recommend that. Normally what I did for all the other years is I just did the beginning of the year balances, and I never actually tracked them monthly. And yeah. So that's my lesson learned on interest right there. So I'm gonna say that's pretty much all I'm paying for June, seeing that I believe tomorrow is the last and final day of June. I don't think any more is coming back out of that, because again, like I said, do I have the 400 in savings? I do. But do I feel more comfortable letting that savings just sit and chuck away at this thing like 100 per week? Yes. So that's going to be our goal for July here, is just to pay the remainder balance, which is only 400 left of the PSECU. Just get that done and out of the way, and then we'll move on to our next account. Okay, one last final one is we have this cute little seasonal page, and again, this is just a friendly reminder for myself for when I'm setting up my budget planner next year, is just those weird odds and ends that you really don't think about. And this is seasonal items only. My favorite is the snow removal. I had to get the salt and stuff for the driveway. I'm not going to be thinking about that in July. Okay. I am, because I look at it every time we come on here and film, but yeah, I'm not shopping for salt. I'm thinking of beach salt. So that's the whole point of this seasonal thing. I know most people just do holidays, but it makes me really actually think about it now, because it's like, okay, yeah, I'm going to be getting stuff for the driveway, sweaters and jeans, of course, taxes. Easter dinner actually wasn't that bad. Lawn care never would have even crossed my mind until the lawnmower blew up. So yeah, we got lawn care. Bill's birthday, of course, power tools, and apparently I buy all my bras and undies in June. So, again, that's another thing to make a little savings account for. And then I can start planning ahead. And it is just so fun to like go back and look at these guys because I was in a definitely a different mindset. Um, I've actually stopped making the online orders checklist because I think I got myself under control now. I think. So let's get into the whole June overview. And again, I am going to take a quick break before we go through the month of June. And this way you can see like how I set this stuff up. And again, these are like a full game changer for this year. I love that I started making these, and we'll just see what the weekly layouts and stuff look like, and hopefully I could give you some good ideas to help you with your budget. Alrighty, guys. I like to have that break. It just helps me relax my voice, and it also makes sure that the camera doesn't shut off. it does have a time limit to it, so at least now I know that we don't gotta worry about that. So let's get into this June overview here. So the Hemlock and Oak setup, again, it's mainly, I believe this is for like self-care. So we are doing self-care budgeting. So they start with the boundaries. Like, what boundaries are you going to set for this month? And for me, it was the end of last month was stressful. It was. I had like a surprise mini surgery. I had no idea. Like, I knew that we were going in for stitches, but it apparently turned out to be deeper than expected. So, yeah, I ended up being off of work for 3 weeks, which is, surprising, but at the same time, it was glorious. It's like I got a 3 week vacation, so yeah, that was why I was like, okay, we're going into the month of June. We got to figure out balance because it got real wild at the end of May, and which, I mean, we can see it. We can see when things start getting wild for me and they're unpredictable, I will just start spending. So not good, not good in the budget department. You can see like I'm reprimanding myself that this is overspending. There is no excuse for it. That it is what it is. So let's rein that back in. So again, they focus on this whole self-care thing, and the thing that I love about the self-care is one, it gives you an excuse for me time, and two, I've found that I don't spend. When I'm doing the me time, there really is no spending. Again, with the surgery, I do like to work out with weights, but there was weight restrictions, so I had to get a little creative with that. But again, if you're running on a treadmill or you're working out with weights, you're not spending. It's really difficult to escaping the daily drama with painting. Which really works. I'll start painting and I'll be like, oh, it's only gonna be like 15-20 minutes, and then we're like an hour and a half in, and it's just so refreshing with the mind because you really do have to focus where you're putting the paint. So you can't be thinking about all the other crap, and of course, finding time to read. This is probably one of my favorite ones. This is the cookies and read time. Bert, my cat, loves to eat cookies, and I love cookies. And we just sit and read. And of course, we're reading in front of the AC now, so it's a nice way to stay cool. And again, you're not buying. So, oddly enough, self-care, me time, helps you from spending. Okay, so moving on, we got the intentions and the milestones. This is going back to that whole goals page and kind of redirecting our budget goals to, actually go to where we want them to go. So, it's yeah, I'm gonna have to say, like, the 6 months into this, I can do this. The first couple months was weird, but I can actually answer these questions now. So the main intention I have for the month is to get the stupid Amazon account paid. Okay, like it's a ridiculously low number. It's only 188, and just get the stupid thing paid. Okay. The other one is to pay down the tans and the planners. Again, I'm only supposed to be charging what I can cover, and I put these on the card. It's one of those moments of where you tell yourself, oh, I could pay that off and I'll pay that next Friday. You know, payday's on this day. I'll pay it then. And then you just forget. And it just kind of hangs in limbo. When you make these little mini payoff trackers, things can't go into limbo because it's staring at you every which I use my planner every day. So, but if you're somebody who budgets once a week, every week, every day, every time you open up this planner, that little payoff tracker is going to be staring at you going, hey, remember when you put the tans on the perks card? Remember how you said you were going to pay that off? Well, there it is. Okay. So, that's why I said these things are a game changer, and they really help, like with this long-term one, like the car insurance on Chase. That is a 0% purchase, and you save like a month's worth of insurance by paying it in 6 instead of monthly. So it does help me keep track of like how much more of that do I owe on. And again, it's just a friendly reminder for like somebody like me of where I don't forget about the purchase now. It is constantly staring me in the face. Again, we have, this is the monthly habit, so this is why we don't really see anything in the habits in the beginning of the planner, just because we are still working on the only charge what you can cover. Bad habits die slowly, guys. They do. The good news is I haven't had to buy tanning lotion, and it's pretty much because I can't tan. I cannot tan with the incision on my back. So, in one weird way, the chaos from the end of May actually saved me like $200 because I would have been buying the tan for the summer package. So it is oddly saving me money. We can see that there are some items that, and it's consistent. Planner supplies, new seasonal clothing, and candles seem to be my weakness. So that's one thing that list is teaching me. Of course, the whole monthly thing, I list every bill. They may be accounts that are paid off. So let's see here. Let's see who we can find on here. There's many of them. So okay, like the PayPal buyer credit, the PayPal MasterCard, those are just paid off. There is nothing on those accounts. So I still list them. It's just a nice way of like reminding myself, one, to go look at that account, make sure nobody else is using it, and two, to make sure that there's no like surprise fees, like annual fees or weird interest that is slowly accrued, like that $3 interest charge that you get every now and then. Where that comes from, I don't know, but every now and then one of them will peek up. Michael's, the Michael's card is good for that. So even though it is paid off, I'm not carrying a balance. I still list them on here. Again, it's just a friendly reminder so that I don't get a missed payment. And it's also really fun to do the little X and say $0, because there was a time where every single one of these, there was a balance owed. And that was a wild time, guys. I do not want to go back to that. So, that's the whole main reason for this whole monthly thing. And, it's, if you're familiar with the Budget Mom, and she does that, budget by paycheck, this helps me with knowing, what bills are due within each pay period. So I know that, the pay on the 13th has to cover all of these bills, and and then we get the safety net again, and we get to try it again. So that's the whole reasoning behind the the monthly layout. I do write down the savings goal. Again, I have the $5 a day, so 5 times 30, 150. I just split it up into 75. We had the insurance funds come in this month, so I split those up, put those back for rent, and I do keep track of the balances on the store cards. So it's just a nice little way. Like, there's so much information packed on this layout, but again, it's nice and simple, and I can just quickly look at it and say, oh, yep, this is when this is due, this is how much I paid, this is how much is left over. Like I said, this is like a meaty little planner, guys. I was doing the daily layouts for the past couple years, and I am so happy that I switched to the weekly layouts, because it just packs so much on the one page. Okay, so going into the weeklies here, I do keep track of the main emotion for the day, just because I am generally an emotional spender. So when things are going really good, I will spend. When things are going really bad, I will spend. But oddly enough, like, if I have a good day and a bad day and a good day and a bad day, it like evens out, and for some reason I don't spend. So really, that's what I want to look for. I don't want to see like, oh, good, because then I feel invincible and I will spend like a god. I think, but I don't have his wallet. So, okay, and again, they give you this, the focus and the intentions. So I just try to keep something like upbeat and actually achievable for the end of the week. So, we got to plan your future. Again, I was off of work, so I was designing products for the shop. It's just a nice, one, I like creating items. So it's nice for me. I get the creative outlet, and if I turn them into products for the shop, it could be a form of passive income, because once it's uploaded, it's up, and I don't really have to worry about it. What do? I relist all of the bills due for the week, and we can see there are lots of X's, so that's good. That means no payment. I do keep track of the 3 me times that I'm enjoying for those days. And of course, the actual part of the budget planner is I list the bills, and I list, it should be spend, but apparently I had shop on mine. So this is what general spending, this is bills. And of course, we got some nice journaling area. And so that explains what we're seeing here. Again, I was still off from work. So health is wealth. This was me really getting into some like me time and that, and I was doing like at-home spa treatments, body scrubs, things like that. And I mean, I was having a blast, guys. It was great. Yeah, the mini vacay was wonderful, and I really didn't want to see it end, but we got to go back to reality. So we got to go start making some pay. So, yeah, here we go, back into the work week. And it's brutal, guys. It was brutal. So, yeah, that first day back, not so great. Tuesday got okay. Tuesday wasn't that bad. Wednesday was just an abomination. I was like, dude, I don't want to do this. I do not want to do this. But I finally got my tooth. So I broke a tooth in January. Remember all those doctors and dentist visits. So finally, believe that's the end of the whole dentist saga. So finally, McChippy has been crowned, and he has won his battle. Okay, what else do we got? Yeah, Thursday was a good day, because I knew that I wouldn't have to go into work the next day. But you know what? Whenever these are like long extended shifts, Monday through Thursday, because the whole thing is supposed to be like, well, you get an extra day off, on the weekend. Yeah, guys, it's not worth it. It's not. You are beat, you are exhausted, you are angry from the week, and Friday is literally spent anger snacking and napping. about like 8 or 9 p.m. on a Friday is when you start to feel human again. And I mean, we have to train ourselves to wake up at 3 a.m. So yeah, you're pretty much going back to bed. But, you can't spend. That's the one thing I've learned is you can't spend if you're fully exhausted. Okay, so yeah, this is whenever we balance transferred those other two accounts, and like I said, I came so close to coming on and filming last week, but I was like, no, we're gonna do the end and the beginning of the month, and then we're gonna do a mid-month, because I don't know, to me, I'm feeling like every week is getting excessive. So, and I got other planners I want to share. And that gets us to this week. So, yeah, again, going back to work is just, it's brutal. And this was like a really hot freaking week. And I think that just made it worse. Again, Tuesdays aren't that bad, and Wednesday was just even better. We do have a new coworker. They transferred from another building, so they are helping to boost the mood in the workplace, because right now the previous work climate was just horrible. So hopefully this is a good change. And again, with this being the last week of the month, I do try to go back through all of the weeks of the month, and I try to find any charges that I missed. That's what we're seeing highlighted here in the pink. Those are items that are on a credit card. So if they're slashed through, that means that I was a good budgeter and I paid them off. One that we could see here, the dentist is highlighted, but it is not slashed through. Good news is I have until December 2026 to pay the $300. Is it going to take that long? No, but it's 0%. So, like I said, I'm trying to pay off all of the other ones that are not 0%, and then that way, save on interest, guys. it'll pay down like way faster. I used to be a big snowball method person, and yeah, it does help build momentum, but at the same time you do end up paying more, and it takes longer. So that's why I said I'm kind of doing like a high blend right now of where it is listed smallest to greatest, but at the same time, if I noticed one of those has like 30% interest where another one has 0%, I will let the 0% rest, and we will beat the crap out of the 30% one. That's what we're doing. That's the whole purpose of this year. That is my main goal, is to get away from the interest. So this is today. Today's not over, so I may or may not spend. I probably won't, but you never know. And I still have to do the journaling for that. And yeah, so we got I just figured I'm just reviewing June. I got it done with. The three best moments of the month, I would have to say, would be the 3 weeks off from work. That was like fantastic. If you have a job that allows you to have paid time off, do it. Do it. It's wonderful. And yeah, like I said, we got Jeannie. Jeannie's the one that transferred from another building, and it's just been fantastic. I finally got the crown for my tooth, so again, like, that's one less thing for me to worry about. Mainly the main take from June is it was not the best for the budget. Again, we did have a little bit of overspending, nothing like May. But I will have to say that June was great for the soul. I got the break that I needed, and it basically gave me the time to think about, like, what is actually important, what actually needs done, what do I just need to put off to the side. And it is actually funny because balance was the main goal for the month, and I will have to say I feel more balanced by the end of June. July is probably just going to like tear that to shreds, but I did gain more insight onto what makes me feel more balanced, and in turn, the pun is intended. It helped me balance out my budget. Again, you have like places to put what gave you energy, what drained you. Mainly, I would say it would be transferring those two accounts onto a 0%. That really gave me the boost in the budget area because it's like, holy crap, this is possible. I've been saying for like the last 5 years of, I'm gonna see the light at the end of the tunnel, and it's like, yeah, it's a win, and just knowing that I'm so close to having all of these put on 0% is, oh, it's so refreshing because, like I said, it does pay down way faster when you're not battling the interest. The most draining would have been would have been the physical. It would have been knowing that like I can't lift. Um, I can now, thankfully, but like I constantly had to ask for help to do like stupid tasks, which then means less me time. So yeah, that was the struggle at the beginning of the month. And basically my lesson, thought, or growth moment from this month is basically anytime that you're laid off from work for medical reasons, it's normally a bad thing. I chose to focus on the silver lining of it. I used my time off to try new things. I wanted to see, basically, what was the right path for me? Like, am I doing what I should be doing? Again, do I just need to snip the cord on some things? And I did. And I, I do. I find really I feel like I'm like actually on the right path, guys. So I'm feeling really good. I'm feeling really positive and optimistic about what we're gonna be doing here in the next couple months. Um, I have been starting to make the payments on the whole dentist thing again. Like I said, like those aren't due for a very long time, but still making some type of moves on them. And I mean, I'm gonna say like June. I didn't get PSCCU paid off. I didn't get Amazon paid off, but I still made progress on them. It's still better than where I was the month before. And just a quick snippet of what we're gonna be doing in July here again, because I'm not gonna see you again until like July 15th. Um, the boundaries that I'm working on for July now is I'm really, 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 really going to try to beat down on the extra spending. I know I say it every month, but I mean, I have everything. I don't need to buy anything. Like if I look around the house, I literally have what I need and oddly enough what I want. Like I'm good. I would have to say for the next 30 days, I am good. The other one is, oh yeah, I still haven't shared this. So my other goal for July is to stick to a budget that I've made. This is the first budget that I've made since 2020. I've pretty much quit making them because I wasn't able to stick to them. But I'm feeling really freaking good about this. So, this is one of my naughty purchases from June, but I absolutely love it, guys. This is the custom happy planner that you've been seeing in all of my other videos. I've been playing around with it, and so what it did is basically I got it for the cover. I couldn't pass up the cover, and it is just like just a weekly checklist. Okay, I do have videos on this. But what I love about this for the budgeting part is they give you these extensions. So let's do the budgeting one first, just because that is what I was referring to in there. So what I'm going to do differently with this is instead of showing like when everything is due, I'm going to try to track and see when I pay. Is there just like a mad rush of paying items? So that's what this monthly is going to be for in here. is it's just gonna track to see what my habits are for paying down bills. And this is it, guys. This is my very first budget, like official budget of what I spend. I actually had enough room. Um, yeah. I'm impressed. So, I know most of you probably, if you're watching a budget video, you are like, Sally, I make one of these every month. This is the first one that I've made since 2020, and it actually fits. It fits, I'm in the plus. So that's why I said, like, things are actually looking good, guys. So I can't wait to start filling this out for the month. And again, we have that no spend challenge. So I was like, that's actually perfect. And they have like these weird weekly things, which, as you know from seeing my actual budget planner, there are weeks where I go on like spending binges, and there is no way this is going to keep track of all of that. So I think what I'm gonna do is at the end of every week, I'm just gonna, like, okay, it's fair to say I go to Wendy's on break every day. So instead of writing down 4 to 5 Wendy's trips, I'm just gonna write Wendy's times 5, and then that way I could keep track of, maybe like monitor what I'm doing in the categories themselves. So I don't know. That's going to be weird. It's going to be different, but I do love this right here. I'm in love with this because now I can actually kind of see, like, I know with the YNAB app, but again, with it being digital, there is a big difference between digital and paper. So the YNAB app has been helping me figure out, like, oh, you're going to need X amount of money for this, or you're going to need X amount of money for that. Where this one, I'm like pre-gaming. So I'm kind of hoping that I can stick to this, guys. We will find out as the month goes on. And the other one, which I know you're like, what the heck does meal planning have to deal with budgeting? But which with me being home, I think that's what had a lot to do with it. But with me being home for those 3 weeks, I spent $300 in groceries. Normally I only spend $100, so I was like, what the heck? So I used her like little meal planning thing, and I just came up with, I was like, okay, these are going to be the main dinners that I'm having for the week, which, if you remember, I'm on those wild shifts. So yeah, we do literally have burger wraps. I eat them constantly. Sometimes we'll switch it and have a chicken wrap. But yeah, that's literally the dinner after work. Cause like I said, I need something that's quick, easy, and like 20 minutes or less. Shove it in my face so I could go to bed. These would be like the weekend meals where I actually have time to cook and enjoy the meal. And of course, we have the shopping list. And that is how this gets into the budgeting, guys, because this is really what I'm going into, is that the grocery bill has been a little high lately, like 3 times the amount. It's a little bit more than a little high. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to start using this meal plan and try to find similar ingredients, and then that way I can like just do one shopping trip instead of like multiples when I'm tired and hangry. And this way I could just buy less and waste less. So that's the whole deal that I'm talking about on this boundaries area. Again, I basically keep the same self-cares. They really don't switch out too often. And again, the intentions, basically I'm telling myself Amazon will be paid off. It's going to be paid off by the end of the month. No excuses. Figure it out. And the same goes for the PSECU. So I just said, okay, these are the amounts. And what I do is I just pick a random day during the week and I say, transfer the money. I just make it happen. Again, we have the do you really need it list. And These, I did change this up. Normally I just have like that big list of what the purchases and that, but it hit me when I was making these. All of these are 0%. So instead of me, which I haven't filled in any of the squares, guys, I do that literally on the first, but I've been like constantly looking at these because I'm like, oh god, look at how high the balances are, and it's like they're 0%. These are not. So pay the minimum, pay what I need to do for the month to pass go collect $200. I wish, but like these are the ones I need to be focusing on. So that's why I separated them and said, okay, this is to pay it first. And of course, with it being summer, I want budget-friendly ideas to actually enjoy the summer. Again, I have the incisions from that surgery, so no tanning, no swimming, no amusement rides, no water parks. So yeah, which we did have planned, but yeah, those are a no-go for this summer. So I got to come up with something, to keep myself entertained, but at the same time, enjoying summer. So that's it, guys. That's really what we've been going into for the budget while I've been away. Like I know I'm not filming weekly like I was, but I don't know. I just feel like I have a little bit more to say, and if I keep them separated like I'm doing now. So probably, let's see here, which would be, yes, I do keep a Legend of the Emotions. Some days you don't know. So yeah, I'm gonna say probably going into this week is when I'm gonna film again. So we got a whole another 2 weeks to go, and hopefully I come back on here with like good news. That's always the goal. And yeah, so that's a great place to close out. And again, I thank you guys. I thank you so much for watching. I do greatly appreciate it. And please remember to hit that like and subscribe button to see more budget reviews.